watching the 2025 SCAC Softball Media Days. Today, we're taking a dive into Texas Lutheran University softball program. The Bulldogs will once again be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Wade Wilson, along with leadership from senior shortstop Linzee Leal. Coach Linzee, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. Thank you.
Coach, we'll open up with you. Always an exciting time here at the start of a new season. I'm interested from your standpoint. What are you most excited about as you get prepared to start this new year? What have you learned early on with this new group that has you excited, and some things you want these fans to know that support this program about this team going into the season?
I think we've got a lot of familiar faces. You start looking for experience when you go into any new season, and you're going to have to rely on that early on to kind of get you going. And I'm excited about that. We've got a lot of familiar faces. It's going to be life after Ashlyn and Sid, so we're excited about that. I think we've got some pitching in place that are going to fill those shoes as best as they can. For me, it's always you go back 6 years ago and we lost Maitland Raycroft and Amanda Lochte and had no idea how we would ever live after that. And then Ashlyn and Sid come in and do the job that they've done with the other pitchers that we've had on staff, and so I'm excited about that. I think it's good for our TLU softball family to have the experience we have not in the circle, and it'll help get those younger pitchers going. So we're excited about it.
Linzee, Coach talks about the experience, returning those familiar faces. You're certainly a huge part of that experience. He talks about coming into this your senior year. You've had such a great career to this point, multiple-time first-team All-SCAC performer, a Gold Glove winner coming off of last season. Just an outstanding career to this point. How excited are you coming into this your senior year? What's that mindset, and how have you kind of seen your role change within this group, and maybe shoulder some of those leadership responsibilities coming into this year?
Well, thank you very much. But yes, things kind of, my role as obviously being a senior, things have changed a little bit, just as in being that leader, being that role model for the team, and being the one to be able to, get the girls going, be a firework, be being able for them to get them going and stuff. But as far as the little things, my role hasn't changed. I'm still gonna do what I know how to do, help my team as best as I can. We work as a family, so that'll continue. But all of our goals and expectations will stay the same. And so just looking forward to that and doing the little things well. But as far as senior year, I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how our season goes. I'm really excited for these girls and for us to be able to finally have softball again, to perform again, and to just do what we know how to do. So.
Coach, you talk about, the familiar faces returning and that experience and how that will help early on in the season. I do think there is a difference between, having that experience, but also, shouldering that leadership responsibility. And obviously you talk about life without Ashlyn and Sid, and those were two big leaders within this group. Where do you kind of see, some of the student athletes, filling into some leadership roles? How do you expect them to sort of take on that responsibility? Where do you see that leadership coming from within this group, heading into this season?
Well, I think we've been fortunate that Linzee's been such a good leader since she's been here. She was a leader as a freshman and a role player. Go back and look, and I had to remind myself and go back and look at stats and whatnot and what role Linzee was as a freshman. And she didn't play very much, but she was still a leader because she worked her tail off, She was an outfielder and a base runner, and so you move that 4 years forward, and now nothing's really changed for her. She's just a different classification. So she's been leading since the day she got here. And I think some of our younger kids have bought into that with her. I think Linzee was our best leader last year. We had some great experience in Ash and Sid, and two totally different kind of personalities that led in their own way. But as far as our leader on the field, it's been Linzee Leal for a long time. So there's nothing new there as far as that goes. And I think the thing with any leader, and it's hard I've never named captains because you just don't know. I think those are born naturally, and kids are going to evolve or go to those people, either good or bad, right? And we've been fortunate to have Linzee and a very positive influence on all of our team. And not a very good leader if people don't follow, and she's got a lot of followers. And so we're so blessed to have her and a few of the other kids that we have in those roles do what they do because our kids have bought into them.
Linzee, you talk about kind of your excitement coming into this season. We've mentioned all the success that you've had. What have you grown to love most about being a TLU student athlete, a softball college player. What have you grown most to enjoy about that over your time? And why has, being at TLU bolstered those things that you've enjoyed so much, and that program kind of melded together and strengthened those things that you've enjoyed?
Well, I think the big thing is that we're a family here. And like Coach Wilson was saying, is that everyone's bought in and everyone has one goal. And I just think I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful to be here and to have been to be a part of this team and this culture, because it really is an unbelievable experience to be able to have this sisterhood and this family on this team. And I think that that is the biggest thing that helps me to be able to be who I am and to pursue the goals that I have in life after softball. And I thank Coach Wilson for that and all of my coaches, because they're one to be, want us to succeed and want us to be the best versions of ourselves every day. And, if we're not that best version, like that's okay, but they're going to get us there to be that person. And I'm just very grateful, because even with our coaches, I have my sisters and the girls behind my back to be able to support everything and all the goals. And it goes back and forth with the way that I feel for the girls feel for me as well. And so just having that family and that love for each other, that gets you a long ways, whether it be in life and season, it gets you a long ways. So very grateful for that.
No, Coach, I want to get into specifically about life in the circle post Sid and Ashlyn. You talked about, we mentioned almost 1,000 innings between those two in their career. And I think as a coach, part of the challenge is finding solutions. And you've had that solution in the circle for these last 4+ years. And so now, how much are you invigorated as a coach to find a new solution in that circle? What does that solution look like, do you think, moving forward into the season?
Well, it's going to be exciting and just figuring it out. That's the thing. And that takes time. I think we've got some able bodies and kids that are talented enough to get the job done. I think it's going to look different, right? You knew what you were getting with Ash and Sid every time they went out there. I don't know what their win-loss record was over those 4 years, but it was amazing, right? So it was easy for me as a coach that was a plug-in. We knew, even if they didn't have their good stuff, they were still really, really good competitors and pitchers in their own right. So I think this year, trying to figure that out, who's going to fall into those spots. I think we're deep there at pitching. We don't have depth a lot of places, but we're pretty deep in pitching. And I think kids, once they start getting some confidence, especially with we've got 2 juniors that ended the season so well last year. If we can get that out of them, then we're going to be just fine. Amanda White is back. She last year was an off season for her. She didn't play last season, and then before that, she was pitching in a World Series. So, we've got some options, and then we've got 2 freshmen that I think are going to be, or 3 freshmen that I think are going to be really good before it's all said and done. So we just got to kind of get that figured out and know who's going to be in what situation and what role, as far as if we're going to end up going Johnny Holstaff every game, or if we can get 4 or 5 innings out of somebody, and who's going to be in relief, and trying to figure that out. So we've got some things to learn about our pitchers, but we're excited about them.
Finally, Linzee, as we wrap up with you, because of the success that you and your teammates have had over the course of your career, the bar, as always, set high there in Seguin. So when you've had conversations with some of your other teammates and leaders within this program about some of the goals and expectations coming into this 2025 season, what have those conversations looked like? And ultimately, what do you see as being key to having that success heading into this season?
Right. I think that the conversations is, like you said, that, we have had such high expectations and the bar is set really high. And so just being able to meet those expectations, but also is that knowing that everyone's going to give you their 110% every single game. And it doesn't matter who they are, they're going to give you the best all the time. And so we just always talk about how we're going to get the best of the best from everyone. And so that means that we have to be our best versions that day, no matter what it takes. And so just being able to be ready and to be on the go. But also we just like to focus on the little things. And so the little things come a long way. But just the little things, as in we always like to say, just play catch, do the little things right, and things will fall into place. Have each other's back, always be a good teammate. And so that's really our big number one, is to be a good teammate. So I think if you're able to support your teammates, no matter what your role is on the team, as long as you're a good teammate, you're going to go far in life. And thankfully, we do have a lot of good teammates and a lot of good girls on this team. So that gets us very far.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, the excitement of the new season is here, the unknowns that lie ahead. When you've kind of had your opening messages to this team about kind of what you see is important in having a successful year. What has that message kind of been early on to this group, and how do you see this season, being successful with what plays out over the course of these next few months?
I think it's just going to boil down to if they want to win or not. I mean, it's there in front of you. Do you want that? How bad do you want it? How hungry are you? I mean, we've been so fortunate over the last 12 years, however long 11 years. I think we've been in this our 12th season in the SCAC. We've been very fortunate and to end up on top of that, and especially in the regular season. So I think talent-wise, we're there, but they've got to want to do that. It's not coming from coaches; it's got to come from the players. If they're willing to buy into that and want that, if that's their end goal, then we'll be just fine. I think the big thing for us is staying healthy. I think our depth is thin in some spots, but if we stay healthy and our kids figure out get a little hunger, and want that, then I think we're going to be just fine. I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But I think our conference is as good as it's ever been, and since I've been here, the parity is a lot. It's there, I mean, there's 8 schools, 10 schools in our conference right now that can beat anybody on any given day. And that's good. That's good for us. It's good for our conference. So it's going to be an exciting year for sure.
Texas Lutheran University head softball coach Wade Wilson, along with leadership from senior shortstop Linzee Leal. The Bulldogs and head coach Wade Wilson will open up the 2025 season on February 5th when they take on Texas A&M San Antonio. Coach Linzee, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the season.
Thanks, Russell.